Welcome to the Sports Watchdog Radio Show, hosted by Mason Kern. He keeps his nose to the ground to report on what's trending in professional and college sports, to inform, enlighten, and entertain. And now it's
the Sports Watchdog.
The Sports Watchdog, Mason Kern.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sports Watchdog Radio Show on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 Phoenix. I'm your host Mason Kern, here with you every Sunday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. And obviously I'm certainly glad you decided to join me this morning. And as always, I do have some great stuff in my kennel. Today we have a show filled with Chris's. First, I'll be speaking with Chris Johnson, the former NFL Pro Bowl running back, and then I'll be talking to Chris Cortez, the team captain and leading goal scorer for our own Phoenix Rising FC. I'll also be covering some sports hot topics, and for you basketball-specific fans, interesting happenings on the Hardwood. So in Sports Hot Topics this week, we're going to talk about a topic I don't normally cover that much in depth, but I think this is one where I think I should dive a little deeper into it. UFC 229, the main event here. It's Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor, and this had the makings of being a really good fight. You had the press conferences where obviously any fight that Conor McGregor is going to be a part of, there's going to be some trash talking. He's probably the king of trash talking in his respective sport, and I mean, he was really throwing shots at Khabib. Obviously, there was the whole controversy in months prior with Conor getting that assault charge, attacking the bus that Khabib was on. That was brought back to light a number of times pre-fight. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what goes on in the octagon. And all in all, I thought it was a pretty good fight. I saw the highlights. I was watching, and both sides looked pretty effective. Now, Khabib, 26-0-0 coming into this fight, undefeated. Conor McGregor, 21-4-0, so he's already lost 3 fights. He does not have an undefeated record, so Khabib has pretty much everything to lose. It's a title fight, lightweight championship, and Khabib comes out and he's throwing haymakers. This is a makings of an extremely good fight. I think there's going to be a sequel. Ends up submitting Conor McGregor in the 4th round. And, I mean, he had him in a nice chokehold, got him, and McGregor almost tapped, didn't even really have much of a chance to fight out of it. But what really got me after the fight was after the fight was over, Khabib wins, and he goes and scales the octagon fence, dives into the crowd, and starts attacking Conor McGregor's camp. Now, while all this is going on, you have someone from Khabib's camp climbing over the other side of the octagon where Conor McGregor is sitting down trying to recuperate from him being choked out, obviously. And someone from Khabib's camp scales the fence and immediately starts clobbering Conor McGregor. So now we have 2 different altercations going on after the fight's already been won by Khabib Nurmagomedov to secure his undefeated record and lightweight championship, but he risked that by going and attacking Conor McGregor's camp. I mean, his reasoning, what justified or not, it was because Conor McGregor, I guess, was talking about his country, his religion, his family, that type of trash talk, which Khabib says he will not tolerate. But then later, after this happened, Khabib's dad came out and said, "I've raised my children with more respect, and the punishments he's going to get from me are going to be far worse than any that the UFC will give him." So who knows what that means, but it's recently been announced the Nevada Athletic Commission will suspend both fighters. Their purses are being held, so they have not gotten paid for the fight yet. But, I mean, it was a pretty crazy series of events that Khabib wins. Khabib scales the fence. Khabib starts punching everyone in the crowd, seemingly. Ends up being Conor McGregor's camp. Someone from Khabib's camp scales the fence, starts beating up Conor McGregor, and then there's 2 different altercations. Pretty crazy stuff, but UFC 230, don't know how much better of a sequel that'll be, but I guess we should all be prepared for a sequel of Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. Whether or not that's a title fight, I don't really know yet. It hasn't been announced. I don't know if there'll even be a sequel, but I think this definitely has the makings of a Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor 2. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. The Sports Watchdog Radio Show on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 Phoenix will be right back after this short break.
If you're losing your hair or notice that it's getting thinner, listen closely. You can do something about it without messy lotions or drugs. Now you can get clinically proven hair growth results at home with the Hair Max Laser. Hair Max delivers nourishing laser light energy to stimulate hair growth right at the roots. It's FDA cleared, recommended by doctors, and best of all, it has an amazing 93% success rate in clinical studies in both men and women, so you can be sure it works. Use it just 3 times a week and experience new hair growth, increased density, and healthier, fuller, more attractive hair in just weeks with a 5-month money-back guarantee. Now, for a limited time, save 15% on your Hair Max order at hairmax.com. Type in code RADIO at checkout or call 1-800-9REGROW. That's hairmax.com code RADIO or 1-800-9REGROW. Experience real hair growth and save 15% with Hair Max.
Hey there and welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Watchdog Radio Show on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 Phoenix. I'm Mason Kern, and joining us now is Chris Johnson, the 10-year NFL veteran and 4-time Pro Bowl running back. Chris was drafted by the Tennessee Titans with the 24th pick in the first round of the 2008 NFL Draft. He's also spent time with both the New York Jets and the Arizona Cardinals. So Chris is here today to share an update into his NFL career and what else he's up to outside of football. So with that, hey Chris, welcome to the Sports Watchdog Radio Show. So glad you could join us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so first off, with a 10-year career, what's kind of been your fondest memory so far of playing football in the highest league in the NFL?
Definitely going for 2,000 yards and being the guy that had the most yards from scrimmage with 2509, like being that record still holds for this long. Those were like some of my best moments.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's certainly a pretty incredible feat to say the least. So can you kind of walk me through that season, that 2,000-yard rushing season? What game in and game out, what was kind of your mindset, and how did you kind of go about your game days?
Basically just going about trying to win, going to every game, trying to do my best to help my team get a W. And I know as long as I did that and do everything I could do to help them get a W, I know when I look up at the end of the day, my stats will turn out to be just how they was.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly, those stats ended up being pretty incredible to say the least. Now, I mean, like I said, making 4 Pro Bowl appearances, what did that kind of mean to you in terms of your career, and how special were those moments?
Man, it means like, looking at the days that I was going in days now, like guys these days, they're getting in a Pro Bowl with, 1,100, 1,200, even 1,000 rushing yards, 300 receiving yards. They get in the Pro Bowl, but when I'm so grateful because when my years, especially the younger years and stuff like that, guys rushing for 15, 1,600 yards, you weren't getting in the Pro Bowl unless you had at least 1,500 yards. So it just show you the type of things that I was doing.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of obvious that you and in your era at least of football, things seemed to be going your way, especially against opposing defenses. So in terms of today's version of the running back in the NFL right now, what are you kind of seeing from NFL running backs today and their performances thus far to start this new season?
Those guys, they've been very dynamic. When I came in the league, they were looking for the big 230, 240-pound back. And now these days, they're looking for the smaller backs who can run the ball and catch out of the backfield. So, yeah, just like I was saying earlier, like, the running back, you come in the lead and rush for 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, and give them 300 or 400 receiving yards, then you probably like one of the top running backs. You know what I'm saying? So that's what those guys are doing. So they're showing you how us running backs can change the game and be a receiver out of the backfield and be a real playmaker.
Yeah, definitely very dynamic and versatile for sure, like you're saying. Now, outside of football, shifting a little bit, I mean, you've been doing some charity work as well, I understand. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, every year I always do all my normal stuff, my Christmas stuff, my Thanksgiving stuff. My latest one that I did my charity basketball game, and we donated money to research for kids with diabetes and stuff like that. And I'm also going to do the same game this year coming up on Pro Bowl weekend down in Orlando, Florida. So just make sure I continue to give back to my community.
Definitely really cool endeavors there, especially in the donations, especially to that research, is definitely very important. Now, also, I understand that you're coming out with a clothing line. So what's kind of the update there?
Oh yeah, I'm coming out with a clothing line. It's called Wealthy Warm Intentions. Almost ready for lunch. Probably going to lunch in probably like the next 2 months or so. So just getting all the final pieces together and stuff like that. Gonna be a real great line, real fashionable. So be on the lookout for that.
What kind of motivated you to get into the fashion industry then?
Yeah, I'm always been a fashionable guy, and I always liked clothes and shoes and stuff like that. So I'm, one day you just like, why would I continue to spend all my money on everybody else? Because I might as well come up with something else that's fashionable that I can wear myself, and also that I can get into once I'm done playing football. So now that I'm done, I can focus most of my attention on my clothing line and hopefully make that a big success.
Right, and that kind of leads me then into my next and final question for you. What are your plans in regards to the NFL? Are you planning to keep playing, or are you calling it quits?
No, I'm done. After whatever happened to me in Arizona last year when I was released, run back and released again, that kind of like, that took all of my desire of wanting to play football away from me. So after that, I felt like I done did everything that I wanted to do and stuff like that. And, yeah, I don't really have no desire to play again.
Well, 4 Pro Bowl appearances across your 10 years and that 2,000-yard rushing season, pretty incredible stuff. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. Where can our listeners go to get more info on the clothing line and your other endeavors, or just to connect with you?
Yeah, you can go to my Instagram page at Chris Johnson TWO8 on Instagram, and then also have Wealthy War Intentions on Instagram where you can check that out at.
Well, there you go, guys. Make sure to go check out that clothing line and keep up with Chris as you go about your days. All right, Chris, thanks again. All right, everyone, the Sports Watchdog Radio Show on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 Phoenix. We'll be right back after this short break.
If you're ready for a boast-worthy staycation, the AAA 4-Diamond Hermosa Inn, located in Scottsdale's Paradise Valley, is for you. This luxury hotel offers authentic Arizona character and charm. Its 43 newly renovated casitas are nestled in a garden setting with breathtaking views of the lush desert and Camelback Mountain. Most accommodations include deep soaking tubs, beehive fireplaces, and private patios. Other property features include a lively bar and communal seating areas, on-site painting classes, free-use beach cruisers, seasonal poolside yoga, hot tub facilities, a business suite, and dining to die for. The Hermosa Inn is an ideal locale for small group getaways, from weddings, intimate family vacations, and bachelorette weekends, even golf outings, board meetings, and executive retreats. And its award-winning on-site restaurant, Lawns, is renowned for globally inspired Arizona fare, complemented by a subterranean wine cellar. You can see amazing photos of this and much more at hermosainn.com. That's hermosainn.com.
Hey there and welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Watchdog Radio Show on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 Phoenix. I'm Mason Kern, and joining us now is Chris Cortez, a forward for our hometown Phoenix Rising FC. This year, Chris has broken the club record for most goals in a season with 15. He also became the 5th player in USL League history to score 50 career goals and is just 1 goal away from breaking the record for most career goals in club history, with the current record standing at 29. Phoenix Rising currently trails Orange County by a meager 3 points for first place in Group B of the USL. As the team seeks promotion to the MLS, this season's success was a big step forward. So Chris is here to share more on his successful season thus far, as well as the club's success as a whole. So with that, hey Chris, welcome to the Sports Watchdog Radio Show. So glad you could join us. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so thanks again. So first off, Chris, before I kind of get into the professional career, what got you into soccer in the first place? How did you kind of get into the sport?
I grew up playing. My dad was always a big fan of soccer, and just growing up, as soon as I started walking, I kind of had a ball at my feet, and then started playing in AYSO and recreational league when I was about 5, just like kind of everyone else and stuff. And just as I got older, it got more and more serious. And as I, kind of started getting to that age where it started becoming more of a reality than just a kind of a far-fetched dream.
Right, and as you kind of get older and transition into it becoming more of, hey, this can actually be my career, my profession as I get older here. How did you then find your way to Phoenix Rising?
I actually was playing over in Orange County before, and I got a call from Frank Yallop, who was our former coach and GM. He took over the last year of Arizona United and was one of the guys that was really pivotal in the transition to Phoenix Rising and the rebrand and everything. And he was one of the guys who brought me over, and he said it was a player that he had always liked, and he had kind of followed me and everything. And he had gotten my number through a mutual guy that I had played with and he had coached before. And then he also asked Carl Zinski, our keeper, about him, and he asked Waz about me and stuff, and said, hey, how's Chris, and all this stuff. And at the time I was doing a couple trials, and I was over actually in Sweden, and Frank was very good about, being patient with me and kind of waiting for me. And obviously between that and Carl's recommendation of me, they decided to sign me up with Arizona United. And once we transitioned over to Phoenix, I was lucky enough to be one of the guys that he wanted to keep and bring over. So, and here we are now.
Right, yeah, and it seems like, it has translated into a lot of success, obviously, this year. Like I said before, leading the team in goals and also one of the 4 team captains on the team this year, too. So what do you kind of attribute your success this season and kind of the development into the team captain role, and what do you attribute that to?
Well, for me, honestly, it's one thing I've kind of spoken to everyone about is the big thing that I've been really glad about is that I haven't had any serious injuries or anything this year, which has helped a lot. My first year when we were AZ United, I had a grade 2 hamstring and I was out for about 8-9 weeks. And then last year I tore my meniscus and had to have surgery, and it was the same thing. It was about 7 weeks till I was fully playing again. And so, to be able to just be continuous, be consistent, and be on the field all the time and constantly kind of getting game fit and not having to worry about coming back from something and something halfway through the year, and to have a full year where I'm able to fully just be healthy and focus on just the soccer portion of things has really helped a lot.
Right, yeah, and that durability, especially in a pretty high energy, high contact sport like soccer, it's pretty impressive to say the least. Now, having been a part of the previous team name in Arizona United, and then, like you said, transitioning to the Phoenix Rising, what was kind of that transitional period like? And now that you guys are the Phoenix Rising, what kind of excites you most about the club?
Well, I think the transition period was one of just huge excitement. I think that was the biggest feeling, is we really saw something special and something big was coming along, and you started seeing changes towards even the end of AZ United. And then, really over the off season, there was a huge buzz and a lot of things going on, and obviously a lot of big players were signed, all the guys we brought in last year and everything, and we had an amazing team and stuff, and then the stadium and everything being built so fast. And just how quickly everything came up and everything happened, it was kind of almost surreal a bit. And as far as this year, I think just the excitement has really carried over. I think everyone saw, what a good team we had last year, and I think we've built on that this year. And just, I guess word has gotten out a bit more, since last year, and how well we played and how well we did. And then to improve upon that this year a little bit, I think has been huge for us and really created just that much more of a buzz around the Valley.
Right, yeah, and this team, going back to Arizona United, it hasn't been around that long. The premier season in 2014, not the most successful, didn't qualify for the playoffs for the first 3 years of the team. Now, last year you guys qualified, you make it to the conference quarterfinals. This year you guys have qualified again. Like I said, you're second in the league. So what kind of is the buzz as you guys look toward the playoff, trying to kind of get back? Is it kind of like, oh, we need to do better than last year, get past the conference quarterfinal, or what's kind of the buzz around the locker room?
Our big thing, and it's a goal we set from the beginning of the year, was first to try and win the conference, and then after that, win the cup. So obviously that still remains our goal, to finish as high as possible. If first place can be attained, great. If not, and we stick to second, well, it is what it is. And we'll be a bit disappointed with that. But at the end of the day, even if we get second, we still regardless of, first or second, if you win out through playoffs, it doesn't matter, home and away. I think we've shown that we can win games away from home as well. So if we happen to have one game away or maybe two or whatever, it's not a big deal. But I mean, for us, obviously, we'd prefer to win everything at home. And then after that, it's just, like I said from the beginning, our goal was to win the championship, and that's still our goal. And so our focus is right now, win the last regular season game, do as well as we can, and then go into postseason as well as possible. And then from there, take it one game at a time.
Right, and as we kind of look back, I mean, going back to that transitional period before the 2017 season when you guys kind of rebranded and turned into this Phoenix Rising, you guys had three pretty major signings. One of those was Didier Drogba. So as a forward yourself, Chris, how has it kind of been learning from a player who has so much international success with Ivory Coast, as well as his club success over in Europe, having him come over and kind of learning along and playing alongside Didier?
Oh, I mean, I think it's been great. Yeah, it's fun to play with him, to be honest, because he sees things and you can make runs and he'll see you and be able to pick you out, or he knows, that kind of next level of the game and stuff. And so it really makes your job a little easier when he's on the ball. He can find you no matter where you are, and also that the minute you pick your head up, he's going to move for you and move in the right way and put himself in a good spot and everything. And so I think as, playing alongside him and stuff as a forward, and it's really one thing where it's like, hey, we can really click very easily, and he makes it very easy for someone to play alongside him. Aside from that, it's just off the field stuff and how he is in the locker room and everything, and he's, obviously everyone knows who he is and everything, but at the end of the day in the locker room, he's still one of the guys. And yeah, we have, obviously the jokes about him and everything, but he still jokes around and messes around with everyone else.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think just the fact that he's still super laid back and super chill despite being who he is, I think is a testament to his character as well.
Right, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure it's also it helped boost the morale and also kind of the skill level of the play as well, having a player like that. Now, I said before in kind of the intro portion that Phoenix Rising in the USL right now, hopes of being promoted to the MLS has been talked about and covered at the beginning of the season, and then as you guys kind of had a lot of success throughout the season with that second place finish just behind Orange County. So is that kind of discussed at all between the players? Hey, if we keep this up, we might be promoted to the MLS, or do you guys kind of shrug that off and just kind of focus on what you're doing in the USL right now?
Oh, I think obviously that's a goal, and from an organization standpoint, you see what the owners have done, and the owners have really pushed and really done their part and worked incredibly hard off the field to try and make this happen and try and market this and promote this and take all the steps they need from a business standpoint to make this happen. And so from us as a player standpoint, it's control what we can. The owners are really doing their best and working as hard as possible to control what they can. And so us on the field, it's provide entertainment and provide a fan base and continue to bring people out, even in hot summer weather and even in all kinds of conditions and stuff. And the fact that people have still come out, I think, has shown that we have shown some entertainment and shown kind of a buzz and created kind of a buzz. And so for us, obviously, winning and playing attractive soccer is kind of our job, really. And that's our job in general. And I think it's just that extra little incentive is to do that, so we can, hopefully create more of a buzz and continue to get more and more people out. And that way, with that kind of fan base, you create more of a case for yourself to become an MLS franchise.
Right, yeah, and I guess that is kind of the end goal, like you say, for management as well, for the fan base. I mean, to have an MLS team here in Phoenix would be pretty cool. Well, Chris, we're running out of time. Thank you so much. Good luck in the playoffs. I know you guys are kind of getting ready to get into that now, but where can our listeners go to get more info or to connect with you and stay up to date with Phoenix Rising?
Anywhere, social media, websites, all that kind of good stuff. They've got it all. They've got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, standard website, all of it. Just look it up. I mean, they're always kind of promoting stuff and letting everyone know and keeping everyone in touch with everything. And so, have everyone come out, be ready to go, and we'll be needing that support in playoffs.
Definitely. Well, Chris, thank you so much again. All right, everyone, the Sports Watchdog Radio Show on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060. Be right back after this short break.
For singers looking for a fun, all-in-one wireless karaoke mic with a built-in mixer speaker and its own light show, Voco Pro's pop-up Oki microphone is for you. It connects to a smartphone or tablet via Bluetooth and accesses YouTube and numerous karaoke apps for hours of entertainment. An onboard MP3 player allows singers to perform recorded MP3 tracks. Its multicolored LED light with on-off switch will automatically dance to the beat of the music, adding visual excitement to any karaoke session. Find it at vocopro.com.
You ready to hoop it up?
This is Happenings on the Hardwood.
All right, guys, as always at the end of the Sports Watchdog Radio Show, you're on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 Phoenix. We're going to pivot on over to the Hardwood and talk some hoop stock. We're getting into the latter stages of the preseason. We're about 4 days away from the start of the regular season. I can almost taste it. It's so close. We're almost there. We've had this whole offseason talk, and there's still off-season drama. Guess who it is? Jimmy Butler and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Some crazy stuff going on in the past week, more so on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as some developments are coming out of Minnesota, as Jimmy Butler is earlier, in case you guys, I guess I should back this up a little bit, Jimmy Butler put in a trade request, does not want to play in Minnesota anymore. He doesn't want to play with Wiggins, doesn't want to play with Towns. Some reports saying he wants out of Minnesota, which is true. He did put in the trade request. However, he just feels like in an interview with Rachel Nichols, he came out and said he wants to, he would be willing to stay. He doesn't know if it's fixable, the situation, but if it was fixed, he'd be willing to stay and compete with those guys because he understands and recognizes that what they have there is pretty special. But Jimmy Butler finally attends a Timberwolves practice. It's open to the media. He attends. No one was really expecting it. Jimmy Butler shows up and proceeds to dominate absolutely everyone. He went with the third stringers, and in a 5v5 scrimmage, dominated the starters, as reported by the people who were there, and Adrian Wojnarowski, who got the report. As Woj is famous for his verbiage and during the NBA draft and whatnot, he termed it the Tour de Force. Not the Tour de France in cycling, but the Tour de Force of Jimmy Butler at the Minnesota Timberwolves practice. And this is a development where he was dominating. He was challenging Karl Anthony Towns. He wants everyone to go up against him. He wants to win. And that's really the message that I think he's been trying to get across this entire offseason. I want to win. I don't think you guys want to win as much as me. Karl Anthony Towns, you might be better than me. Andrew Wiggins, you might be more naturally gifted than me, but nobody in this gym wants to win more than me. That competitive edge has gotten him to where he is throughout his career. And at this point, I doubt he'll stay in Minnesota, although Tom Thibodeau, their head coach, did probably like that intensity that was brought to practice. I don't know if it is fixable, just like Jimmy Butler said, he doesn't know if it's fixable. But he did say it's not fixed. And I guess that's kind of a given considering he doesn't know if it's fixable, but he said it is not fixed, and I don't know if it can be fixed. But some of the some of the scenarios in which Jimmy Butler might find himself on different teams. San Antonio's been in the mix. Miami Heat have been in the mix. New York Knicks, also a strong contender. People were kind of speculating earlier that Jimmy Butler might go out there with Kyrie Irving if he gets Kyrie to leave Boston. But Kyrie just came out and told Boston fans, I'm staying. So it's really going to depend, I guess, on where Jimmy Butler finds a home, ends up, whether or not he does stay in Minnesota. Only time can tell, so I'll keep you updated. Tune in here every week for more developments on Jimmy Butler. Well, that's a wrap, everyone. Anybody wanting to connect with me, the Sports Watchdog, on Twitter can do so at @SportsWatchdog, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as well at The Sports Watchdog. So until next time, keep your eye on the ball.
The Sports Watchdog.
The Sports Watchdog Ace and Kern.